Dadnarok reacts to Wonka. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And we're flipped around. There we go.
What in the I'd seen that. I was like, are we going to address this or just keep rolling?
I'm confused. What's going on here? Yes, this is Dadnarok Reacts. We were reacting to the trailer for Wonka. It's been out for a few days now. You and I did at the beginning of this year, back in January, way back now, we did kind of a preview of the big movies coming out in 2023. And of course, December was almost a full year away. So I don't really remember some of the later 2023 movies coming out, but I guess this is one of them. This is a Christmas time movie.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our opinions were those ones that were real late. Cause we were just coming out of the pandemic. We're like, they're probably going to be pushed anyway.
We're like, what's this cocaine bear? That's going to be weird.
But yeah, this one here, we talked about briefly. We really didn't dig into it, and it really wasn't on my radar at all. It wasn't a movie like, I got to see it, because I wasn't a big fan of the Johnny Depp remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm more of a purist. I love the original one. It is the level of creepy and weird and everything I want out of the movie. And I don't know. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. So when I heard they were doing this, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it just depends on the tone and what it looks like, because the one from 2006, I think it was, that was definitely a Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You know what I mean? Like, just weird, and Johnny Depp, and it was just like that kind of thing. And it didn't have much to do with the classic with Gene Wilder, which I think people know that movie more by the meme, you know, the meme these days, than they do the actual movie. But I'm looking forward. I'm hoping it's like the same kind of style. And I don't know. Timothee Chalamet is a good actor, but I don't know if he'll have the same kind of chops that Gene Wilder does. I don't know. We'll see.
No,
I haven't seen this trailer yet, so
I've full transparency. I watched it, but let's just go ahead and give it a watch together here.
I've spent the past 7 years traveling the world perfecting my craft. You see, I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker. So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
Mr. Wonka, I can see you're a man of great ingenuity.
What are you doing?
I'm making chocolate, of course. How do you like it? Dark, white, nutty, absolutely insane.
Many people have come here to sell chocolate. They've all been crushed by the chocolate cartel. You can't get a shop without selling chocolate, and you can't sell chocolate without a shop.
No daydreaming.
What are we gonna do, Willie? Huh?
Huh.
A double hump.
Do you have a pencil and paper?
Uh-huh.
I got an idea. I know things haven't been easy for you. They're gonna get better.
You promise?
I pinky promise. That's the most solemn vow there is.
Where do we start?
A good chocolate chip is simple.
Where's this? It's just weird.
What's happening? Who wants a chocolate that makes you fly?
Shall we?
Who's for a Hummerjob? Nothing to see here. Just a small group of people defying the laws of gravity.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Gallery Gourmet, my name is Willy Wonka.
He's good. Too good.
Yeah, pretty sure I've gained about 150 pounds in the last 2 weeks.
You can change her life, Mr. Wonka. Change all their lives.
Run away!
Every good thing in this world started with a dream. So you hold on to yours.
Here we go, Mama.
Mark my words, this is gonna be the greatest chocolate shop the world has ever seen.
So you're the funny little man who's been following me.
I will have you know that I am a perfectly respectable size for an Oompa Loompa.
An Oompa what now?
Allow me to refresh your memory.
Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
That was funny.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
That was cool.
I liked everything about it. I like how the fact that I feel like it's almost going back to like a whimsical, like it's before he became jaded, like we know him in the original,
right?
And it's given us some of that. I didn't expect Hugh Grant. When I seen that for the first time, I almost lost it because I thought it was the funniest. When he said he already started dancing, it's too late.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he looks like the old school Oompa Loompas, the one from the Gene Wilder movie. So I wonder if they're going purely for that aesthetic, which I like. I mean, that's a good call. I mean, that's classic. Why not go back to that? I really liked it. I don't. It looks a little threadbare on a story. I mean, I don't. I mean, there's not much to the story, but it is just a trailer.
Yeah.
So you know, eh, I like the look of it. I like Timothee Chalamet as an actor. I'm still not convinced that he has the same level of charisma that Gene Wilder had originally in that role.
That's
Um,
fair. I think
but
that's fair to say.
I don't know. Is it fair to say that the parts of the trailer kind of bored me a little bit?
Oh, yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna hit everybody differently.
Yeah.
Really, this one here is gonna be a hit or miss. Either you're gonna love it or you're not gonna know. And I mean, Amber here is saying she loved Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa.
Right.
Which was fantastic. But how
Yeah,
many
maybe
Oompa
there's
Loompas
some fun to be had for sure. It does look like a good Christmas time, a holiday movie to go see
family
with the
fun
family.
movie?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looks like. And there's gonna be spots where that those things need to be filled. And I think it's gonna
Yeah.
fill that spot perfectly.
Right.
How many Oompa Loompas are we getting? Are they all gonna be that small? Because I thought they were a little taller than that, definitely in the original one, but
Well, yeah, because they were, little people actors back then, as opposed to now you could just shrink like you could use CG to use
make any
CG to
tall, yeah,
shrink Hugh
yeah,
Grant, apparently. Yeah.
paint them
So
orange and some
right.
green hair and
Yeah, they even went for the same hairstyle and everything. Um, I mean, I like a kind of an origin story. But then you mentioned like, before he gets all jaded, like with any prequel, it's susceptible to be like, well, we know where this goes or where this ends up. So it's like, what's the story here and why is it interesting?
I
You know
want
what
to
I
know
mean?
what makes him Jake. 'Cause you see him in the first trailer here. You see how like happy and just wanting to break into the chocolate world. The chocolate cartel they call it. You can't get an
Yeah.
actual like store. He gets
Yeah, that was
into it
funny.
obviously. At what point are we going to see this be a 4-decade movie before we see him in the original we know of? Will there be a big gap? Will we see why he shuts down the chocolate factory and no one's allowed in? There are things like I
Mm,
want to see that. I want to see him go from this joyful, gleeful person that just wants to make chocolate make everyone happy to the
yeah.
guy that becomes jaded, closes the gates, and lets nobody in.
Yeah, I'd like to I do like that, and I'd like to find out a little bit more about how the heck he infuses all this magic in with the chocolate, you know what I mean? Because it looks like
Yeah.
the other chocolatiers are just making straight up candy, as opposed to, candy that makes you float and, all the crazy
The three
stuff that
course
happens.
meals and one piece of
Right.
chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he's traveled the world and, see, that's almost more interesting to me, like, finding out about more of that. Maybe I would have preferred a story, like, if we're gonna do Wonka prequel, maybe the story of where he comes across this magic
Where does he get
traveling
the
the
golden
world.
goose?
Yeah, yeah. But maybe there is some more of that in this movie than I think there will be. I don't
What
know.
if they're
Him
planning this
setting
to
up the
be a
chocolate
multiple
factory.
movie?
You think they're out to make a Wonka franchise?
What if they're not saying it now and they're banking on how well this one does? And if this one does well, they plan on making either a 2 or a 3 to go ahead and make it a full journey from where he is at this one
Yeah.
to where we know him in the original.
Right. Yeah, that could be. And see him finally at like the end, maybe give out or have the idea to give out the golden tickets, and then
Yeah.
we just dovetail right
It
into
goes
Charlie and the
right
Chocolate
in
Factory.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of problems with a lot of like big movie studios right now is they're coming out and saying, "Oh, we have a 10-year plan." Don't
Right.
you don't
Right.
have there's no need to say you have a long plan. Just
Yeah.
say, "I've got this movie coming," and if it does well, go right into the next one.
Amber says, "Not gonna lie, well written, well acted, lighthearted, family friendly film would be welcome, and it feels like we need as many as possible lately." Boy, that's true. There doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be. That it feels like there's a void out there of that kind of movie, which Yeah, and it said right on there, from the producers of Harry Potter. It did kind of give
And
a
and
Harry Potter
Paddington.
and Paddington, which
Yeah.
that's a huge plus because I haven't seen the Paddington films, but I've heard no
Nothing but great things about them.
yeah, have you seen those?
I have not seen either of them, but I know people there's like a cult following behind them.
Yeah, because not only the first one, but even the sequel that they put out a few years ago, which, typically a sequel is gonna be a lesser than version, but from what I understand, even the Paddington sequel is really good too. So that's promising, that the people behind that and some of the producers of Harry Potter it was giving me some of the visuals were definitely giving me Harry Potter vibes,
Yeah.
but, hey, Wonka came first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So did this move the needle for you at all?
considering my needle was at 0, yes. It has moved it.
So there's nowhere to go but up for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's nowhere to
As
go but up.
I
Um,
went from knowing about it to now knowing I'm probably going to go see this with the kids.
it's a theater view for you.
Yes, this probably bumped me to the theater for me.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know what else is coming out this holiday season. I mean,
That's
there's
also a thing. There's nothing coming. There's nothing going against it. Which in
right.
turn, like Amber's saying, it's a nice family film that
Yeah.
you're going to bring your family to during the holidays.
Boy, that's a big deal. We're in the midst of a writer's strike and the actors' strike now, so, we're gonna feel the effects of
There's
that
not going to
way
be
into
much coming at all.
2024.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just right
It's gonna
when
be tough.
the movie theaters are rebounding from the pandemic, the studios
Yeah,
do it to themselves.
that's right. Amber says, "I'm with you, Sean. Went from 0 interest to might go see it with the kids if they're interested." That's a big thing with me anymore, honestly, because our kids are of the TikTok/YouTube generation now, and your kids less so. You're able to watch actual sit down and watch movies with them. My daughter will sit down and watch a movie, but it's very selective. It's not like she'll just watch anything that I put on. Like, sometimes it's a lot of times it's like coaxing her. If I want to watch something with her, it's like coaxing her to do it. And then if she finally sits down, maybe her interest will stay, with it after 15, 20 minutes. But even that's 50-50. Honestly, the only way that we can get her to sit down and watch a full movie is to actually take her to the theater,
Take
where
it to
that's like the only thing we're doing, right?
There's no phone, there's no tablet, there's no distractions. It's the
Yeah.
movie, the popcorn, the drink.
And you
That's why,
mentioned Elemental recently. She did go to see that with my mom, her grandmother, and she sat down, watched the whole movie, absolutely loved it. So it's like it's not impossible, but
yeah.
I don't know if I showed her this without her having any kind of nostalgia for the original
Yeah,
Wonka
that's
film.
something big too. This is hitting on the older generation that knows what, Willy Wonka and the
Yeah.
Chocolate Factory is.
It's a live action film. I don't know if she knows or cares about Timothee Chalamet as an actor. Maybe there's some teenage girls out there that'll go just for him. But yeah, I don't know what kind of draw. Like if I sat my daughter down in front of this trailer and be like, "Does this excite you? Want to go see this?" I doubt she'd
Yeah.
have any interest.
This is one of those other movies like why? Why
Yeah.
why was this made? There's a lot. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of those movies this year. They look at it
Yeah.
and just go, why? Why are you trying to do this? What's the purpose behind this? Are you trying just to milk some more money out of an IP that is essentially could be dead? Or are you trying to like for instance, I'm really looking forward to the TMNT Mutant Mayhem. The closer we get to the more and more pumped I am for this movie.
Yeah.
But again, how well is it doing on Nickelodeon? How well are the Turtles Nickelodeon cartoons doing? Are they
Really
doing
well.
well enough to justify, you know what I mean? Or are they
Yeah.
trying to pull from us? I feel like the exact same thing here. I love the original. I remember watching the original with my grandmother, my mom, just all of us watching it. And when I was young enough, I didn't know enough to be creeped out by the movie. Now when I watch it, one of my favorite parts of the movie is when they're on that boat going through the tunnel. That is freaky as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing the factory, just some member berries. Give me some visuals. You don't have to give me anything verbal, but give me some visuals. That's all I'm asking.
It'll be great for the actual candy company. I know that. I think Wonka's owned by Mars or something. So they're owned by the chocolate syndicate now, Wonka is. So I'm sure that'll be big for them. Um I don't want to get into an argument about the turtles because I think I totally disagree with that point. But they've like refreshed themselves. They've been a new version of the turtles pretty much since the turtles were in the comics back in the 85 or whatever. Like every few years there's a new version of the turtles. They've stayed relevant. How many years have we seen a new version of Willy Wonka? Like
That's
there's
yeah.
been
I
a
mean, maybe that
total
was
of
a bad
2 in
comparison.
50
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
I'm so
So
far disconnected from anything on Nickelodeon. I think that's
yeah.
why that example came to mind to me.
But you're right. I mean, like, who is this movie for? Is it for the people that have nostalgia for the Gene Wilder film, which that's from the 60s now? Like, and we just talked about the other day how bad Indiana Jones is doing. It's because, it's like, who is interested in, like you said, a lot of these older IPs, they're just milking for everything that they're worth at this point. Lucasfilm had Willow and Indiana Jones, and both those franchises really kind of long in the tooth. No, they're not a ton of interest. We heard after the fact that Willow had almost the lowest, viewership on Disney Plus out of anything they put on there,
That one
and
hurt,
Indiana
dude.
Jones was beat out a couple days on its opening weekend by some directed DVD taken a religious taken ripoff.
Yeah.
Like wow, like nobody, some of these properties just leave them where they were. Don't diminish them by continuing this
There's
thing.
no need to do anything more with them. Just kind of let them
Yeah.
be, let them rest, let them sit in nostalgia.
So I don't know. That's kind of all the feelings that I have watching this, where it's like, oh, okay, cool. I like the actor, I like the visuals, but then at the end of it, I'm just like, this feels a little disposable to me. But we'll see. We'll see as we get closer. Maybe there'll be a different trailer that totally ignites my passion for Willy Wonka.
That's funny. But I mean, that's about all we got on this one, isn't it?
That's about all we got. One more word from Amber here. Of course, it's a cash grab, but that doesn't mean it can't be a good film. That's fair.
That's
And the
fair.
trailer definitely made it sound more interesting than I previously thought. Hugh Grant's doing some heavy lifting. He did. I didn't have much of a reaction until I saw Hugh Grant say that he had to keep
Little
dancing.
body, big head, man.
That'll do it for me, I guess.
Okay, well, what do you say? I'm trying to think of a Willy Wonka reference. I'm really falling
I
flat on
don't
this
know. Yeah. I sing the whole song, I guess.
No,
No, let's not.
Until the next big trailer, guys. We'll go ahead and we'll catch you guys later.
See ya.